And I want to introduce Tracy Hamilton, our January program chairperson, to introduce our lovely mayor.
Is this on? Our mayor, Tom Rowland. Is this on? Can you guys hear me? Is it on? Okay. He is the longest serving mayor for the city of Cleveland. He was elected, he's been our mayor for over 20 years. In October of 2009, he was named Tennessee's Community Leader of the Year. And there's several other accolades I'm going to skip. He's a veteran of the U.S. Air Force. He and his wife Sandra are members of Wesley Memorial United Methodist Church. Please welcome our guest, Mayor Tom Rowland.
Thank you. Whoa. Thank you. Thank you. Let me get this thing on for Mr. Palo here. It's good to be back with you. I was talking to Janice on the way up here. I think this is the 20th year that I've addressed the Kiwanis Club of the state of the city. I don't know whose idea it was, but they say if it starts snowing, you're always distracted because everybody's looking out the window to see if it's snowing or not. And with this food up here, a lot of you might have to leave early because, as you notice, you've got a lot of leftovers from the Christmas season, but Dale's working through that very rapidly. I believe he's gone outside. It's good to have Councilman Hughes here with us, and Commissioner Lowe, good to have you, and Representative President Newton. You'd rather be president or representative? Which? President. President. Okay, I like that better. I was talking to Bob Card a while ago, and Bob was telling me about a friend of his in church that was having a lot of problems with marriages. He was on his 6th divorce, I believe he said. So the guy came back to him and said that I just talked to the Lord about my problems, and God said, well, you've had a rough time. I'm going to give you a wish, and it'll come true. So he said, I've always wanted to go to Hawaii. Don't want to fly, don't want to ride a boat. So, Lord, if you can build me a bridge from Los Angeles to Honolulu, that would take care of my one wish in life. And the Lord said, I don't believe there's enough concrete in the world to put together for that. And I just don't believe I can do it. So he said, I'll give you a second wish. So he asked God to help him understand women. And then the Lord turned back around and said, how wide do you want that bridge? So that sums up that type of problem. Well, as you all know, in 2012, first of all, Paul, what about schools today? I was told to ask you that. You were the man of the hour. Can you tell us about tomorrow? It's iffy. Okay, that's...
We're dismissing at 1:30 today, high school and middle school and 2:15 OM.
Which shows you don't need to go past 1:30 if you can get out today. You don't need to ever go past 1:30. Well, during the year 2012, I think all of us agree we lived through a lot of storms and tornadoes affecting so many of our neighbors and friends. And it also brought to light a well-known fact about our community, and that it's one of the most caring and giving of anywhere. The destructive winds, rain, and tornadoes that hit several neighborhoods opened up windows of opportunity for us to help our neighbors. As in any tragedy, the citizenry answered the call and helped one another. Many are now on the road to recovery, and we continue to pray for each of them. Our long-term recovery organization, a spinoff of the Mayor's Coalition, continues to stay actively helping those affected from both the 2011 and 2012 storms. I don't know about you, but I think the last 2 years, as far as weather, were the worst that we have had in many years. This community is blessed to have many organizations in place that are funded and staffed with volunteers and caring citizens. Habitat for Humanity completed its 100th home this past year in Cleveland, and building continues to give even more families an opportunity for affordable housing. This is a volunteer-based organization that is a beacon of hope for families who are deserving and willing to give back to others and deserve affordable living. People for Care and Learning, headquartered here in Cleveland, building a city in Cambodia to help families who need comfortable and sanitary housing and clean, fresh water. In conjunction with this project, Cleveland has partnered with a sister city in Cambodia, and many of our residents are helping make this project a reality. One comfortable house costs $1,000, and that includes plumbing and safe water, enabling the children to walk the streets without wading in raw sewage. And if you're not familiar with the Build a City project and the Ministry of People for Care and Learning, you can go to the website and take a look, and I'm sure it'll touch your heart. We had the Cambodians here, I believe, back in November, and they visited with us for about a week. The governor of Phnom Penh, I believe that's correct. Doesn't really matter. Nobody knows the difference. But that is our sister city. The good news is, of the 10 metro areas in Tennessee, Cleveland leads the way as the fastest growing and in its efforts toward economic recovery. Cleveland's metro area is the 5th largest in construction in the southeastern United States. And Vacher Chemi is a construction leader with its $1.8 billion investment. During the past year, the new business incubator on the Cleveland State Community College campus added even more space for local entrepreneurs. It's amazing the number of small businesses that have successfully evolved through that program. Several of our local industries had good news to share in the past year. Cleveland's Procter & Gamble Duracell plant announced it's now making all D and C cell batteries for the entire world. Mars Chocolate, we know as M&M Mars, announced another addition. While Hardwick Clothes, one industry I'm extremely proud of, they've been here so long. They've been in the state of Tennessee so long. Hardwick Clothes is probably Tennessee's oldest manufacturer. Recently announced it has added more production at the Cleveland plant. In addition to its quality men and women's garments, it added the line of U.S. Army dress blue jackets. And also they make uniforms for Delta, U.S. Airways, and JetBlue. Our strong industrial base continues to grow, making us the 5th largest manufacturing city and county in the state. That equates to this community being in the top 5 cities providing the most manufacturing jobs. An even greater growth spurt has surfaced in our commercial arena this past year. New shopping opportunities are now here at home. The new Bradley Carmike 12 movie theater just opened, giving us a second quality movie entertainment venue. One at exit 20, and the other, of course, between exit 25 and 27. Continued growth in our tourism is evident by the recent opening of the beautiful new Holiday Inn Express on Paul Huff Parkway, and the soon-to-be Hampton Inn on Frontage Road. Dale, I had to do that. And we'll be seeing very soon the opening of the new Longhorn Steakhouse right in front of the Holiday Inn Express. And then the Santa Fe Cattle Company Steakhouse at Bradley Square Mall. Had to do it, Dale. Our successful tourism efforts and our industrial and commercial growth can be attributed greatly to our Cleveland Bradley Chamber of Commerce, Gary Farlow and his staff. The staff and volunteers work diligently to bring all components together in order to make this a thriving community in which to live, work, and play. 1 week ago tomorrow, Cleveland will leap ahead in bringing transportation into the 21st century as we officially open our new Cleveland Regional Jetport. Now, I heard a rumor, Gary, you have a terrain and I have a terrain. I just heard a rumor that a terrain can reach 105 miles an hour in 22 seconds on the new runway. And I think it might be true. While we've suffered with one of the most, it wasn't Gary either. While we've suffered with one of the most unsafe airports and inadequate airports in the state, we're now positioned for more industrial growth, and that means jobs for our young people who can stay near home and pursue their careers. To illustrate the growing importance and rise in air travel and to compare us with others, Hamilton County has 3 airports, Polk County has 2, and we have 1, which is the worst and most unsafe. Our jetport is long overdue. For a long time, I felt sort of alone in my desire to see aviation move ahead. And I can't say enough about the job that's been done through the Airport Authority. They focused on the project, and they saw it through and got the job done. Ground transportation is moving forward. The Exit 20 bridge replacement will go to construction letting this spring. According to the Tennessee Department of Transportation, 2 new bridges will be built, and they are expected to take 2 years with construction planned in phases. A new interchange off APD 40 will connect the new Spring Branch Industrial Park, and is currently in the right-of-way acquisition phases. The project is expected to begin in the summer of 2013 with another 2 years to completion. Annexation of the new industrial park south of Exit 20 brings us closer to Chattanooga city limits. In fact, we're now only 5.5 miles from city limit sign to city limit sign. The Benton Pike intersection realignment with Michigan Avenue Road, widening of Durkee Road, and intersection improvement at US 64 are all part of the state industrial access road improvements to help traffic flow going to and from the new Whirlpool plant. April is a projected completion date on the Dalton Pike widening, and 20 years ago, I mentioned to you here that Dalton Pike would be widened soon. As our city grows and construction increases, Cleveland Utilities does an outstanding job working to improve traffic signals and traffic flow throughout the city, on our city streets and in our neighborhoods. You've probably heard or read about Cleveland Utilities' aggressive Scope 10 project. It's a $30 million 10-year project which will result in better health and better environment. Scope 10 is in its 2nd year of construction, and the progress will seal broken, cracked, or damaged sanitary sewer lines. This will help reduce sewer overflows that get worse during heavy rains, causing groundwater infiltration into cracked lines and damaged manholes. Lee University will once again put our city in the international spotlight when they perform at the presidential inauguration next Monday. A preview of their performance is open to the public tonight, 7 o'clock in the Conn Center. And I encourage you to go tonight and hear this outstanding group of young voices. Fox and Friends Network, or Fox and Friends program of Fox Network, was in town recently to tour the Lee campus and prepare national stories leading up to the events. And segments are expected to air the morning of January the 21st. Got word yesterday that they're going to intersperse some of it during the weekend. Our story, and I was on it, incidentally. Yeah. Our historic downtown continues to expand with business and living opportunities. Joining the existing loft living will be several new additions that will be completed in weeks to come. There are more on the drawing board, which means new opportunities for retail, restaurants, and hopefully good hotels. Just a few weeks ago, a partnership between Lee University and Cleveland businessman Alan Jones resulted in a plan to develop the former First Baptist Church property and several adjoining buildings to create a music performance hall and bring the campus further into the historic downtown area. The plans call for more green space and a further enhancement of Main Street's efforts to revitalize downtown. Another highlight of the year was staged on the Lee campus when we dedicated Billy Graham Avenue. This project started about 6 years ago when I contacted the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association to bless and sanction the naming of the street. It took a long time. Finally, a letter from the legal department gave us the go-ahead saying it's very appropriate to name the street. This was historic because Billy Graham attended college here and resided in Medlin Hall. The 15th Street stretch became the new Billy Graham Avenue, and the reason it was appropriate to name that particular street, it dead ends at Medlin Hall, and the Evangelistic Association said the chances are he's walked a lot of miles on that street. Now, once the street naming was sanctioned, we were able to secure a member of Billy Graham's family to attend our official dedication. Thanks to Dr. Paul Kahn, president of Lee, for his overwhelming support and hosting of this event. The day came and the program was held in the beautiful new Science Building with the Voices of Lee participating, and Gigi Graham represented her father and family at the event. She brought with her stories and memories of Cleveland from her dad, and he made 3 requests. He said, I want you to get a picture of my dormitory. I want you to get a picture of the shoe store where I worked and got fired from, which was the former Belk store downtown. and where I worshiped when I went to school here at the First Presbyterian Church on Ocoee Street. So Gigi and others made a tour of the campus and the downtown area, taking those photos to take home to Mr. Graham. She was also presented a replica of the city street sign for placement in the Billy Graham Museum in Charlotte. The old train depot restoration was completed in 2012, and is it a beauty? If you haven't seen it, I wish you could go take a look inside of it. It continues to be a transportation center as headquarters for the Cleveland Urban Area Transit System, and incidentally, ridership continues to grow and new routes added as needed. Main Street Cleveland, its volunteers and staff are to be commended for their hard work in preserving the rich heritage of our city and incorporating its history into each project. This spring, the Sons of the American Revolution chapter will dedicate a statue of Colonel Benjamin Cleveland. Nobody knows what he ever looked like. There's never a picture of him, but we're going to put the statue down there. And I had a suggestion for the face. It didn't work, though. It'll be positioned in the new First Street Square, the new park and parking venue we have downtown. Since 2011, a number of partners in Cleveland have been collaborating on the Tennessee Targeted Community Crime Reduction Program, and that's one of Janice Castile's big projects that's done very well in our community. It was funded by an $800,000 grant. The project is aimed at reducing crime related to alcohol and drug abuse, while also targeting criminal recidivism and adoption of criminal behavioral studies by future generations in families, trying to break the cycle. Some of the partners include Cleveland Police Department, Juvenile Court System, Behavioral Research Institute, Cleveland Boys and Girls Club, and Cleveland City Schools. The program has received many accolades for the visible results that have been accomplished. Cleveland Bradley Greenway experienced further expansion in 2012 with completion of Phase 5 connecting Raider Drive at the high school to pedestrian bridge in Tinsley Park. The main Greenway route now offers almost 4 continuous miles from Willow Street to the Home Depot and to Mohawk Drive. Other connector paths are in the works, making vast quantities of the city available by foot, bicycle, skates, walking, greater opportunities for better health. Plans to expand the Greenway are in progress, and I can't say enough about our Greenway Board, chaired by Cameron Fisher. Their work through the years is providing us a healthier lifestyle for all ages. Thanks also to Judge and Mrs. Andrew Bennett for their generous donation of property north of Mohawk Drive, allowing further expansion of our Greenway. Cleveland has maintained our commitment to contribute $2 million to the development of the proposed Veterans Home, with construction expected to begin soon. I think we promised 5 years ago it would begin soon, but it is going to begin. The home will house and offer services for up to 108 veterans, creating over 260 jobs for Cleveland and Bradley County. A $55,000 grant from the Tennessee Department of Transportation will allow Cleveland to enhance beautification, litter control, recycling, and environmental projects through educational programs and community activities. Cleveland is working toward a no-kill city designation in regard to animal control. Hard work by many organizations, many volunteers, as well as our animal control team, have led to a sharp decline in the number of euthanized animals. We continue to consistently seek ways to save the lives of abandoned animals, the threshold for the title of a no-kill city. And there was some sad news last year. We saw the election and re-election of some of our council members, including at-large George Poe, Vice Mayor Avery Johnson in District 3, David May in District 4, and Dale Hughes in District 5. But I will say, in all honesty, we have a great city council. No one has a hidden agenda. They all work for the betterment of all of our citizens of Cleveland. If that was not so, we wouldn't have the success that we have today. The city continued under the excellent management of City Manager Janice Castile and Assistant City Manager Melinda Carroll. Janice has watched our finances longer than I've been there, and she does an outstanding job. And once again, because of that, we can be assured that your money is in good hands. As the City of Cleveland was awarded a Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting from the Government Finance Officers Association, which makes 24 consecutive years of receiving the award. I think, Adam, y'all got it about 4 years, didn't you? The county has something like that. Well, we had 20. The city also received the Distinguished Budget Presentation Award, which it has received for the last 13 years. The city has adopted the same tax rate that we've had since 2005, making us the lowest tax city for property taxes in the state of Tennessee that has a K through 12 school system. If we ever do without that, your taxes can go down. The city departments continue to operate on a balanced budget, and the city's bonded indebtedness level is comfortable, and our credit rating remains strong. The city was sad, all the employees were, to see the departure of Finance Director Mike Keith last year, but he has been amply replaced by the new director, William Watson. A number of studies have been conducted to assess the viability of future projects in Cleveland. These include a flood study by the Army Corps of Engineers, a survey of the Greenway to support plans for extension across Inman Street to the Village Green, the planning of a new fire station to serve the southern portion of the city, and traffic improvements at the intersection of Ocoee and 25th Street. The Public Works Department, under the direction of Tommy Myers, had another busy year and completed a long and varied list of projects that have contributed to the improvement of the city. The tornadoes in April of 2011 and the Labor Day floods in the same year served to highlight a number of needs in our community. As a result, the Public Works crew completed a number of drainage projects, including Guthrie Drive, Hunters Run, Blythe Avenue, and North Ocoee at McIntyre Street, and many smaller projects throughout the city to alleviate flooding the best we can. I'll emphasize the importance of the Corps of Army Engineers flood study. It's very expensive, and we've asked Bradley County to join us in that study because we don't think flooding stops at city limits, and I think we need to try to work together to alleviate flooding throughout Bradley County. The team completed an extensive list of paving projects which will continue this year, as well as improvements to Michigan Avenue at the busy artery between Stewart Road and Benton Pike. Already a lot of spot improvements have taken place there. Public Works has undertaken landscaping along 25th Street, which will also continue in 2013. Public Works will deliver improvements to the intersection of Georgetown and 25th Streets. Under the direction of Patty Pettit, the Parks and Recreation Department oversees and maintains 4 parks, 3 swimming pools, the Waterville Golf Course, the South Cleveland Community Center, and the College Hill Recreation Center. Since 2010, it has also managed the Landscape Maintenance Division, which is led by Dan Hartman. They are responsible for all plants and trees along the street rights-of-way in city parks and on city-owned property. That division also mows and trims all street rights-of-way, medians, parks, state-owned routes within the city and the Greenway. A number of recreation projects were completed in 2012. These included the replacement of the pool at the South Cleveland Community Center, along with the addition of a splash park, renovations to Tinsley's Park's playgrounds and restroom with new lights installed on the tennis courts, the installation of a new ADA-compliant playground at Stewart Elementary School, sponsored by the Cleveland Civitan Club, took place last year, and the reopening of the Waterville Golf Course, complete with a new back nine. I'm not a golfer, I don't know what that means, but they tell me it's good. Meanwhile, Cleveland was recognized with Tree City USA status for the 20th consecutive year. In 2013, the Recreation Department will oversee the replacement of the pool at Mosby Park, funded in part by a grant from the Tennessee Local Parks and Recreation Fund. The project will also include the addition of a spray park and updates to the restrooms. The hard work of the Cleveland Police Department under the leadership of Chief Wes Snyder is evident in the end-of-year numbers on crime. The city saw reductions virtually across the board, including a 24% drop in aggravated assaults and a 26% drop in robberies. Substantial reductions also occurred with burglary and motor vehicle theft, while there were no recorded murders within the city in 2012 and none this year so far. In July, the police department was recognized by the Commission on Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agencies after working towards the accreditation for 3 years. Also last year, the department replaced a number of its Ford Crown Vic patrol cars with the new Dodge Charger you may have seen around town. This is the first complete police package of a car that comes from the factory with everything inside of it, everything, all the equipment is there. Don't have to add on the light bars and the sirens and the computers and things of that nature. And this new car, these new cars are completely computerized with more electronics than you could ever imagine. The Cleveland Fire Department continues to provide a high standard of protection for the city's residents. The department currently operates within the city as well as a 5-mile fringe outside the city limits. This will be phased out as the Bradley County Fire Department takes on fire protection for the county. The department has once again maintained an ISO rating, that's a rating by the insurance organization, of a 3, and on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the best. I don't know of any city in Tennessee that has a 1. There are a couple that may have a 2. This high rating indicates the quality of service our fire department provides and helps to keep home insurance costs down. In 2012, the department responded to 392 fire incidents, 1,314 rescue and emergency medical service incidents. And their responses to these incidents prevented an estimated total loss of almost $442 million, not to consider the cost of life, which was very important. We have a new website in the city. We invite you to visit it. It's a project in working, and it is now clevelandtn.gov. clevelandtn.gov. My picture's there, and I certainly want you to visit that website. In closing, somebody asked me, in fact, this morning, what do we attribute a lot of our growth to? And I started thinking about our great Lee University, our great Cleveland State Community College. What a blessing to have both of these institutions in our city. But it used to be at Lee, the parents would come to Cleveland to visit the kids going to school. And now we find more and more the kids are coming to Cleveland to visit their parents who decided to move here when they made that first visit. You find a lot of that, just a whole lot of it. It is so great. And encouraging to think that the people from the outside come and judge us that way and want to stay here and be a part of us. A tragedy in Newtown, Connecticut, the Sandy Hook School. Most of you know of our connection there with the Soto family. Victoria Soto was the teacher who was a hero in that incident. She told the shooter that the children were in another location when in fact they were just behind her, hidden by a door. And so he shot and killed her. She gave her life to protect about 8 or 10 students who were there. This past week, an elementary school in Stratford, Connecticut was named the Victoria Soto School. She went to high school in Stratford, and she has visited Cleveland many times. Her grandparents live here, and her uncle Israel Soto, who works at Life Care, he's a CNA there, and after my wreck, I was up there quite a while, and he took very good care of me, a very nice person, and a very great family. And this community did put their arms around Israel and the family, helping them with their expenses to go to Connecticut for the funeral. So I can assure you that your city council has Cleveland, along with our finance department, in good shape, good stewards of your money, good stewards of spending the money, very good stewards of collecting taxes. We want to be 100% in that area. But thank you for letting me come and share with you the good news for the past year. And I hope to be with you next year, maybe about this same time. God bless all of you, and thank you.